Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Moreno Reifenberg here again. Uh, in case the hello missed, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Moreno Reifenberg here again. This stream will be about book discussions and other miscellaneous subjects. Before I get going, let's just get down to the usual. Set phone to vibrate, and yeah, I hope people that are watching this like my glasses. I've got my beautiful fedora as usual. These are my dark tinted glasses. These are the glasses that go well with black. Since I'm wearing black, it seems appropriate, or it is appropriate, better said. And yeah, let's just get things going. Everything stream-wise seems to be working okay. Today is Sunday, August the 4th. I've got 3 people online already, or 3 people watching this. Shout out to everyone out there. Like I said in the chat bar, this stream will be about book discussions and miscellaneous subjects. Aside from the miscellaneous, the usual, which is miscellaneous, we can talk about whatever we want to talk about. I'm also going to discuss occult books, specifically or primarily the most well-known occult books that most people are familiar with, and books that just most people are familiar with, books that most people know occult-wise, that most occultists know out there, and books that one or more of us have read in their day and spoken of, whether it be in an online forum or to others. So yeah, let's begin. Spinosaurus says hello. Hello to you, Spinosaurus. So the first book that I'm going to start off with is the book. Spinosaurus is asking me, how long should I pray for? What do you mean, how long should you pray for? Be more elaborate, please. The first book that I'm going to talk about is the book that I myself use as a benchmark, if you will, for my own occult development. Back in the day, I simply thought to myself, hey, if I'm going to master the occult, because I had no idea what I was doing. I just did a bunch of stupid stuff, and nothing worked, of course, because this was self-made material, self-made stuff. And I thought to myself, okay, so let me see. I need someone to just show me, or not show me literally. I need someone to explain to me what I'm supposed to do, why I'm doing it, in what way I'm supposed to do it, the frequency that I'm supposed to do it in, and whatnot. It's literally like just an occult course. That's what I was looking for. A potent occult course, of course, one that has merit, similar to driving a car. You're not going to be able to drive a car easily if you just step into a car and start doing a bunch of crazy shit. You start shifting gears, you start turning the steering wheel without actually giving gas, or without actually changing transmissions, you name it. You have no fucking idea what you're doing. So yeah, that's where a driver's ed comes into play. Okay, a driving course comes into play. You actually understanding and being able to deal with someone, an instructor that shows you what you're supposed to do, in what order you're supposed to do it, why you're doing it, and what the consequence is. So it was the same thing for me. The first book that I worked with, okay, and this is also my favorite occult book, is Summoning Spirits: The Art of Magical Evocation by a Greco-American author called Constantinos, or goes by the pseudonym Constantinos. I don't know if it's his real name or a pseudonym, but this is one of the main books out there on ceremonial magic that, in essence, teaches you how to summon spirits. Spinosaurus, in relation to your setting, like how, in relation to your question, like how much in one sitting, that all depends on you. I mean, I'm not going to tell you how long you should pray. You should be able to gauge that for yourself accurately. It all depends on how much you can handle. Yeah. In any case, relating to the book, relating to the book by Konstantinos. This book, let's start with the benefits first. This is the first book that I'm going to discuss. The benefits of this book are that this book teaches you with as little baggage for its time period as possible on how to summon spirits. specifically summoning spirits that are non-human in nature. So when we say spirits, we're thinking about pagan gods, elemental spirits, angels, so celestial spirits, and demons, infernal spirits, and whatnot. Um, and yeah, the author goes through. It is a relatively lengthy book. I have no idea, but I think it has more than well over 100 pages. And the author simply explains to you in short how the universe works, what planets are ruled by which spirits, or which planets are ruled by which spirits. And the author then basically gives you a series of exercises that you need to master in order to advance occult wise, exercises that hint at attaining clairvoyance and clairaudience. And from there, after you've mastered all the exercises, a series of traditionalist rituals. And afterwards, after a couple of other minor subjects, you enter the final phase of the book, which is summoning, divided into astral summoning and physical summoning. Astral referring to summoning a spirit in the astral plane, so spiritually, and summoning a spirit physically, so into physical existence or the physical appearance. This Those are the benefits of this book compared to other books out there, and there are not a lot of books out there that serve as some kind of instructional manual or guidebook on how to summon spirits. So this book, for its time period and in relation to the other books that it had to compete with, is, in my opinion, at the very least in my opinion and to my insight, the best book out there on how to summon spirits. And I just listed the benefits. Now the drawbacks. The drawbacks of this book are similar to its contemporaries. Point one, it's outdated and significantly outdated, in the sense that certain rituals and certain exercises are either baggage, so optional, they're unnecessary, really. They don't add to the core of what you need to know to summon spirits. And you don't necessarily need to master these exercises in order to summon spirits. Or another one is that this book is heavily influenced by traditionalism, specifically the Golden Dawn. For people out there that aren't familiar with the Golden Dawn organization is one of the most influential esoteric organizations out there in the Western world. Okay, they have plenty of temples all across the globe, definitely in Europe and in the US. I think their headquarters is based in the US. In any case, this organization was seen as a trendsetter. This organization was seen as the occult equivalence of the Chicago Bulls back when, in basketball terms, the Chicago Bulls still comprised of Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, a bunch of superstars. So these guys were seen as basically the inventors of modern magic, the way that we practice magic, or the way that ceremonial magicians nowadays, like me, practice magic. But that's also a drawback, okay? This book is heavily influenced by that organization because the author undoubtedly was a big fan of the organization, or he was just taught. He was taught. He was literally taught old school. You couldn't be more old school if you tried to be, and he just passed it on. So that is a drawback in the sense that it narrows one's vision. Um, so yeah, this book is heavily influenced and favored by the Golden Dawn, and it is for that reason those two go hand in hand. Those two drawbacks, that they're outdated, because a lot of these old school rituals are outdated in the sense that they're either unnecessary or there are improved versions of them out there, and it's still heavily outdated at least by a decade or so. This book, I have no idea when this book came out. I can check, but it's not necessary. I think this book came out in the 90s or something similar. So yeah, we're in 2019. It's close to two. It's at the very least, it's close to 2 decades old, or to being 2 decades old. Jason Dunn has logged on or has come online just in time. Hi, Moreno. I'm sorry. Someone is just distracting me with Messenger, via Messenger. In any case, Jason, hello, welcome. You can see for yourself what the topic is, or what the topics are in relation to this live stream. And I was busy talking about my, relatively speaking, favorite book, Summoning Spirits by Constantinos, a book that you, as far as I know, are familiar with. In any case, that is those are the benefits and the drawbacks of that book. In all honesty, that book is not the only one that's outdated. Most books, occult books out there, are outdated. Okay, books that came out in that time period, occult books were specifically. Okay, so that is it in relation to Summoning Spirits, The Art of Magical Evocation by Constantinos. Another one, a very popular one, this, I mean, the book that I just discussed, as well as this one that I'm about to discuss, are the two main books out there on ceremonial magic. And before I continue, I also like to say that despite everything I say, I am still grateful to the authors and their contributions to the occult world. But this just has to be said, truth be told, honestly. David B has come online too. Hey, Moreno. Hello, guys. Yeah, in any case, continuing on, I'll get to the messages in the chat section later. The second book that I'm going to discuss, very similar to the one I first discussed, very similar to Summoning Spirits, is Modern Magic by Donald Michael Craig. Modern Magic is also one of the most well-known books out there, as well as the author, D. Craig, Donald Michael Craig. This book is similar to Summoning Spirits in the sense that it serves as a guidebook to ceremonial magic. It teaches you how to practice magic, and pretty much the outline is the same thing as what I mentioned previously, with the exception of the following. The book contains a lot more content that works detrimental to its cause. This book by Donald Michael Craig, what am I saying? Summoning Spirits. I mean, Modern Magic is not. Hold on for a second. Yeah, Modern Magic, 12 Lessons in the High Magical Arts. That's what it is called. It is still a favorite of a lot of magicians out there, a lot of ceremonial magicians out there. And the benefits of this book are that the cover art is appealing. The cover art shows someone drawing a pentagram with a magic, so a magician in a robe drawing a pentagram with a blue pentagram with a magic staff, a magic wand. And you can imagine that is appealing to someone that is interested in the occult and magic. The book immediately, its cover alone draws attention. I read this book too back in the day, and like I said, this book is similar. Okay, it simply serves as a guidebook to teaching you how to summon spirits, non-human spirits, that is. And the core is the same compared to Summoning Spirits by Constantinos, with the following. So I'm going to get to the benefits right away. The benefits are that when reading the book, depending on the kind of person you are, okay, the book can immerse you. It can appeal to you because it's like a friend is talking to you and teaching you how to summon spirits. That is the main benefit. The drawback is that, especially compared to Constantinos' Summoning Spirits, Modern Magic by Donald Michael Craig has a ridiculous amount of baggage. You can compare the two in the sense of one friend that just tells you something straight to the point. For example, you have some issue with body odor, you stink. Let's just be blunt, okay? Just an example, crazy example, you stink. You've got one friend that will tell you, that one friend is Summoning Spirits by Constantinos, that will tell you, hey, listen, man, I don't want to be an asshole or anything, but you stink, okay? You reek, okay? So you have issues hygienically speaking relating to your body odor, so you smell like crap, period. That's a friend, okay? And compared to back then when these books were released, that's what Summoning Spirits is by Constantinos. It just tells you what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to do it, in what way, to what extent, or to which extent. That's it. Now, Donald Michael Craig's book, Modern Magic. Donald Michael Craig's book is in the example that I gave you guys just now relating to body odor. Someone smelling like crap, someone smelling really bad, you know. Donald Michael Craig's book, Summoning Modern Magic, is the equivalent of a friend that literally just dawdles and constantly delays telling you what the problem is. You notice that that person is trying to tell you something by dropping subtle hints, but not these hints are so subtle that you have no idea what the person is talking about. So you just end up asking the person 3 to 4 times, "What's up? What's up? What's the problem? Is there an issue? Do we have an issue? Is something wrong?" And that person just says, "No, no, it's okay. You'll notice for yourself. No, it's okay." That person keeps making excuses to not literally confront you straightforward. That's what Donald Michael Craig's Modern Magic is. The drawback of that book is that that book has way too much baggage. The author just talks on and on and on instead of getting straight to the point. The author just keeps on it, keeps at it, and blah 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 blah. The author wants to act as a preacher. I'm not dissing Donald Michael Craig, but he wants to act like a preacher and wants to preach to you what morality is occult wise. I think I also remember back in the day when I read it, something along the lines of, "If you don't do this, then you'll never be a true magician." And I was like, what the fuck? You're telling me seriously, you're seriously telling me that if as long as I don't adhere to your so-called rules, that I'll never be a true magician. So basically it's my way or the highway. That's what the message of that single line was. And it didn't appeal to me whatsoever. Okay. I remember that I skimmed over the book the first time, and the second time I started reading it, I told myself, okay, I'm seriously going to start reading it, but I couldn't get past the halfway point. So I just stopped reading. I was like, okay, no, I'm sorry, this book is too blah blah for me. It's too blah blah for me. It's just too much of a headache for me. Uh, and now I'm gonna get to the comments. Jason Dunn says yes, Summoning Spirits is a classic, but I think your e-course is more refined and straight to the point. Homer Simpson says, "Hi, Morindo, what exercises or baggage in the book? The middle pillar ritual." Jason Dunn says that was a favorite back in the day, referring to modern magic. Jason Dunn says, "LOL, yes," and Homer Simpson says, "In the book of summoning spirits." Um, okay, so yeah. So those are the two main books that are on the market, so to speak. So if you're someone that says to himself or herself, okay, I want to learn how to summon spirits, and I want to learn specifically how to summon non-human spirits. I just want to be a magician that's capable of summoning angels and demons and working with them to advance my own life, to progress in my own life. How do I do that? It's like taking any mainstream course out there. You want to learn a new language, you just simply look for a course that appeals to you. People are different. Some people like the delayed response or the delayed message. That's why Modern Magic by Donald Michael Craig appeals to a lot of people. And as far as I know, it's the most popular, down up to this day, even it's the most popular book out here. It's the most popular book out there, occult wise. Most people, when wanting to learn magic or ceremonial magic, just immerse themselves in Modern Magic by Donald Michael Craig in the books itself. And not a lot of people out there are a fan of Constantinos' summoning spirits. With me, it's the exact opposite. And like I said, your personality also plays a role, okay? I'm someone short and straight to the point. My point is simply, okay, shut the fuck up, just tell me. What do I need to do? How do I need to do it? Why am I doing it? To which extent am I supposed to do it? And at what frequency am I supposed to do it? But with Donald Michael Craig, that's not the case. It's just like blah 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 blah. Okay, do this exercise. Blah 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 blah. Do this exercise. Blah 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 blah. And it just goes on, and I was like, I was like, nah, fuck this. Okay, it's like having a friend that just talks a lot instead of someone that's the strong silent type. Someone that just speaks in a normal way, like me. But you have people, especially women, for example, that just yap on and on and on. And if someone were to ask you, can you summarize what that person told you? Half an hour's worth of conversation, I'm going to be like, no. All I heard was blah 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 blah. Blah. I'll see you later. That's I recently dealt with someone like that, and I said to myself, holy crap! Even if someone asked me to summarize or to sum up what that person told me, I wouldn't be able to do so because that person was just talking out of his or her rear end. Okay, that person was just talking out of his ass or her ass. So yeah, in any case, these are the two main books out there that will teach you how to summon spirits, and of course, this is excluding my e-occult course. I'm not trying to sell my own course here, but compared to those courses, my course is can be more straightforward if it tried to be. I literally my e-occult course when I compiled it. If I tell you that it took me a week to compile it, that speaks for itself. My book that is included in the e-course that teaches you how to summon spirits and how to practice Western ceremonial magic effectively and maximizing, with the emphasis laid on maximizing results, is only 3 pages. I mean, after I had written my book and I got to the end part, I thought to myself, seriously? Only 3 pages? Holy crap. That much baggage was present in the books that I worked out of. So yeah, apparently that is the case. A bunch of things are completely and utterly unnecessary. Okay, comparison wise, my book is the updated version, the modern version, 21st century. People want things as quickly as possible and as effectively as possible, especially relating to the occult. I know this by experience, not just common sense and knowledge. No, 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 or theoretical knowledge. I know this from experience in dealing with occult customers or customers that have occult based needs. I Main thing is that people want results as quickly as possible and as effectively as possible. Of course, it doesn't work that way in reality, not always. It all depends. If you have an abundance of resources at your disposal and opportunities, then yeah, things can happen and they can happen ridiculously fast or ridiculously quick. But compared to those guys, my book is literally just like 1 page. My book literally tells you, okay, I'm going to summon you. I'm going to teach you how to summon spirits. This is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to keep in mind. This is how you're supposed to do it. This is what these exercises are what you're supposed to master. After that, you can move on and blah blah blah. 3 pages, that's it. And of course, I also have video material. Video material is a lot more personal because people see me the same way that you're seeing me right now on this live stream. And I explain in these videos what you're supposed to do and exercises, things to keep in mind. And I perform all of these exercises, right on camera, live. Every exercise that you can think of, okay? The exercises, the fundamental exercises that you need to practice. So no baggage, no exercise that's not necessary. An exercise that's optional. Oh, this exercise will help you become more clairvoyant and will teach you how to manage energy properly. But it's not really necessary. No, 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 no. I eliminated all of that. Okay, just the core, the exercises that you really need. Those are the only exercises that I teach in my course. And similar to what Jason Dunn is saying, it's a classic, but I think your e-course is more refined and straight to the point. Thank you, Jason. It is, and yeah, those are simply things that you need to keep in mind. I'm gonna head on over to the chat section again. A little ray of pitch black says, hello, Jason Dunn is asking me whether I've ever covered a video on morality from a magician's point of view, or even how the spirits see morality. I think a lot of occultists are deluded, unfortunately. Yeah, that's common, okay? It's a common trait amongst occultists. People that are spiritually inclined or occult inclined, even yours truly, okay, is delusional. I used to, of course, that's not the case longer with me. I've learned how to manage my delusions. I can differentiate between, hey, what's a delusion and what's not. Certain thoughts that come in my mind, you mean thoughts, I mean, we're talking about delusional thoughts of grandeur and whatnot. I just ignore them because I know that they're delusions. But that wasn't the case for me. Before I became an occultist, I had tremendous difficulty seeing things the way they really were. I was completely delusional, utterly. Okay. And, let's just say that I lived in an alternate world, if you will. And multiple people have accused me of that, or at least in the past accused me of that. Not that that matters to me. David B says it can be in more aspects of life, referring to my example of short and straight to the point between delayed messages with a lot of baggage in between. David B says just straight to the point. Yes. Now that Jason Dunn mentions it, listen, I'm going to cover the point of morality right away in this live stream. No need to do a separate video on it since I'm not really publishing any new material, as in new occult projects and my experiences with that and whatnot. No. Since you addressed the matter, Jason, we're going to discuss it right away. In terms of morality, there's also no need to get into excessive detail. Morality, from an occultist's perspective, just occult morality, simply means adhering to certain guidelines that will see to it that you remain well occult wise and that you do not get yourself into spiritual hot water, so to speak, that you won't get yourself into occult trouble. And simple rules that you need to keep in mind are simply don't hurt any innocent people. If you hurt someone innocent, that same energy is going to come back and bite you in the ass multifold. So it's the equivalent of you making someone lose a finger and you lose your entire arm. You make someone lose an eye and you lose your ribs and your limbs. End of story. That's the basic principle of magic, regardless of which magical practice you practice. It doesn't matter which magical practice you adhere to or which magical practice you have performed or mastered. This accounts for all energy-based workings, okay? Not just magic. Practically everything where spiritual energy, astral energy comes into play. This is a fundamental rule. You do not hurt innocent people. You do not hurt people that don't deserve what you are going to send their way. So no. If you do so, then you can expect sooner or later the shit to hit the fan, okay? You ending up in a wheelchair or similar or some horrific thing befalling you, something horrific befalling you, period. Um, Furthermore, other things that you need to keep in mind too is that you simply basic notions apply to everyone. Excuse me for a second, hold on. Yeah, getting back to topic or back to the subject. Basic morals are taken into account. The same morals that apply to daily life in a non-occult way. You'll have to excuse the brief noise in the background. That's just rain. It's raining heavily in my location right now. In any case, basic rules apply. Okay, the same thing that you would not wish someone else to befall him or her. Don't wish it. Don't think that way. Treat others as you would treat yourself, and you yourself can understand what morality is and what isn't. Doing something illegal and doing something illegal by occult means is also not recommended. Okay, if you still choose to proceed so, then be aware that karma is in full effect. For the rest, you're allowed to hurt whomever you want to hurt, destroy whomever you want to destroy, as long as they deserve it, and you, as long as it's a matter of justice, regardless of how it's acquired. So yeah, that is short and simple. That's short and simply the point of morality cover. Morals in general life apply to the occult too. And the only major rule that you need to keep in mind is don't hurt innocent people by sending negative energy their way or influencing their lives for the worse when they don't deserve to have that befall them. Otherwise, it will come back to bite you in the ass multifold. That same energy will come back to you sooner or later, and it will come back 3 to 4 times as strong, and you'll end up regretting ever doing it. I can't. Jason Dunn says, thanks for covering this topic, no problem. I can't emphasize how much or stress how many stories I've read relating to this topic. Okay, stories about local witchcraft and witchcraft in my location or people cursing each other and this one losing a toe and the other one being involved in a car accident as a retaliation, ending up in a wheelchair, you name it. What goes around comes around. We all know that. Okay. In any case, I'm going to move on to the next book. We've already covered Summoning Spirits and Modern Magic. Another one that I'm going to discuss, and that I've already discussed in a recent live stream, I think 1 or 2 live streams ago, is Enochian Vision Magic by Lon Milo Duquette. Duquette is within occult circles or within the occult world. Duquette is a well-known individual, relatively speaking well-known. And his book on Enochian magic, Enochian Vision Magic, is the best book. I checked out, 5, 6 books, and his book is at the very least, one of the best books on traditional Enochian magic. So if you're someone that wants to learn Enochian magic in a traditional way, we're talking about literally old school, just straight to the core, then yeah, this book will do it for you. If this book doesn't do it, then you'll hardly be able to find another book that will do so. For the rest, I don't really need to go into Enochian magic. Enochian magic, in short, is simply the art of summoning angels in a different way than traditional ceremonial magic. It's summoning angels, but and working specifically only with angels, regardless of whether they're benevolent or malevolent. That's what Enochian magic is down to the core. Other book that I can discuss. Let me see. Another book is called "Communing with the Spirits." "Communing with the Spirits" by Martin Coleman. This book specifically relates to necromancy. Okay, again, the name of the book is "Communing with the Spirits." The author is Martin Coleman. And this book is also the best book, but truth be told, there aren't a lot of books out there. It's relatively speaking the best book that I could find on necromancy, ritual necromancy specifically. I'm stating ritual necromancy because you've got several kinds of ways to practice necromancy. You have electronic voice phenomenon, that is simply put using electronic appliances that have voice recording capabilities to communicate with the dead. For example, a cell phone, and most of us are familiar with it. Most of us have heard, are familiar with EVP. That's how it's abbreviated, EVP. Someone in the chat section is asking me to repeat myself. It's not communing with the dead, good sir. It's communing with the spirits. Author is Martin Coleman. Communing with the Spirits, and the author is Martin Coleman. Yeah. Anyways, this book is rich specifically about ritual necromancy. So ritual necromancy in the sense that you literally just work with the dead from a ritualistic perspective. And this book, like I said, Mr. Coleman goes into detail, and he does so in a short, straightforward, no nonsense manner. He just discusses matters optimally, without too much drawbacks or without too many drawbacks, and at the same time as little baggage as possible. So that's not an issue. He pretty much teaches you how necromancy works, and he guides you through the steps. And necromancy is one of the simplest magical practices to master compared to all other magical practices or magical systems. This, of course, depends on the individual, but generally speaking, that is the case. You don't need too much in the way of clairvoyance and whatnot. I'm sorry, hold on for a second. Someone's calling me. I have no idea why. Hello. Faisal, ya kau fikir kan? Yeah, I'm sorry. That was someone had the wrong number. In any case, yeah. So based on Martin Coleman's book, what the fuck? Person's calling me again. Hello. Mimang, bel verkeerd, minasabi. No. Okay. All right. I have no idea. I'm sorry. You'll have to excuse me. You'll have to excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Someone just called me and said he's coming over, and he keeps calling me and tells me that you don't know me or you're not familiar with me. I have no idea what the hell this guy's talking about. In any case, yeah. In any case, yeah, like I said, Martin Coleman's Communing with the Spirits is, yeah, Martin Coleman's Communing with the Spirits is one of the best books that you'll find out there on the ritual necromancy. He teaches you how to work with potential ancestors or the dead, generally speaking, things to keep in mind, how to prevent the dead from scamming you the same way living people do. What the drawbacks are. He teaches you that dead people, as opposed to non-living entities, don't have a specialty depending on the lifetime that they lived, of course, or the lives that they led. For example, someone that was a bookkeeper in daily life and someone that was a bookkeeper in daily life will be more proficient in money-based dealings than someone that wasn't. Someone that was, for example, a heavy machinery operator or something similar. And he states, for example, that if you want the dead person that you'll be working with, to become proficient at something, then you'll have to give that person time in order to gain experience in whatever task you appoint that person to, or whatever tasks you appoint that person to. Uh, let's see, what else was I going to mention? Other things that you need to keep in mind is that this book is also requires as little as possible in the way of resources. It's not like you'll have to buy a lot of material or you'll have to buy a lot of stuff. No, 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 no. None of that takes place. Um, yeah. And the only drawback that I can think of in relation to Martin Coleman's the only thing I can think of in relation to Martin Coleman's book, Communing with the Dead, is that this book is that in his book he mentions that he makes it explicitly clear that you can only work with ancestral spirits, which I disagree with. I remember that I pretty much stopped reading his book back when I read that because he literally just to the reader he basically says, if you're not going to work with ancestral spirits, then don't practice necromancy whatsoever. And I disagree with it. The reason that he does so is because your dead relatives, whether it be some great great grandfather or a relative of you that died, is more keen or more inclined to help you than someone that isn't. But that is still no reason to explicitly state to people that you can only work with ancestral spirits because that's not the case. You can work with a strange dead person too, someone that you never knew or anything similar. You can work with these people too, but the drawback is that it is a bit more dangerous in the sense that someone that you don't know, the same way that in the world that these rules apply to the world and the living, a stranger, someone that you don't know, is more inclined to scam you or to pose it, or simply poses more of a threat to you compared to a family member. Of course, this is the case in general, and there are more than enough exceptional cases in which it's the exact opposite. You can get along better with a stranger than with an actual family member, and family members will stab you in the back as opposed to strangers. It all depends on the individual, but that's the only point where I disagree with Martin Coleman's book. I'm going to go to the chat section again. Let me see. Ramone Guzman says, I'm a beginner and I started contacting some Goetic spirits, but I can't hear them at the moment of the ritual. Just when I go to sleep, I see them. How can I develop my senses better? In all honesty, again, I'm not trying to sell my material, but if you want to develop your senses better, you need to purchase my occult course. That simple. There you go. You have your answer. Does anyone have any questions on the books that I've discussed up to this point? To simply recap or reiterate, first book that I discussed was Summoning Spirits by Constantinos. Summoning Spirits, The Art of Magical Invocation. Magical Evocation. Second one was Modern Magic by Donald Michael Craig. And the third one was Enochian Vision Magic by Lon Milo Duquette, sorry. And the one I just discussed was Communing with the Spirits by Martin Coleman. Does anyone have any questions on that, on any of these books? I'll give you guys a minute. Okay? Maybe you can come up with any question before I continue. So any questions at all? Keep in mind that this stream is not just about the topic that I'm discussing right now, not just about occult books. If you have any miscellaneous question, then feel free to ask. Feel free to do so. If you have any miscellaneous question, feel free to ask me anything. Spinosaurus says, have you read the book, The Psychic Vampire Codex? If so, what do you think of it? No, I haven't. I honestly can't recall it. Even if I did read it, then it was too long ago, and the book wasn't memorable, in all honesty. Okay, so no one has any other questions. Okay. Hold on for a second. Okay, then we are going to continue, or I'm going to continue, better said. Let me see. Next book that I'm going to discuss is The Miracle of New Avatar Power by Geoff Cobb. I repeat, The Miracle of New Avatar Power by Geoff Cobb. This book is a favorite of beginners too. This book, I think, is one of the simplest forms of magic to perform. It's arguably even simpler than necromancy, but that's my personal opinion. Um, Miracle of New Avatar Power, pretty much shortly summed up, is about a magical system in which you need to do as little as possible. You need to recite some names similar to a mantra. You need to vibrate some names of certain entities, although these entities aren't elaborated on specifically. So the author tells you to work with to simply vibrate such a god name or vibrate such a spirit name when the author doesn't really explain to you what that spirit's name is or what that god name entails. So it's more like reciting mantras. In any case, some beginners have had success with this book in terms of manifesting results. The book is witchcraftish in nature, in the sense that it more involves you simply releasing your desire into the cosmos, and results will ensue, or supposed to ensue. There are supposed to be results, or results are supposed to present itself or present themselves. And yeah, for the rest, I don't really have a lot to say on this book or anything to say on this book. This book is pretty straightforward, and one thing that I didn't like about the book is the fact that the original print of this book came with certain seals, and the author said that if you don't use the original seals, and the original seals cost more money, original implements cost more money, of course, and the author allegedly stated, I don't know if any of this is really true, can't confirm it obviously, but it was my understanding that the author said something along the lines of if the original book is not purchased, or if, for example, the book is pirated or copied, then the method outlined in it or the methods outlined in it will not work. And of course, that's nonsense. So that already makes a bad impression on me if indeed the author said such a thing, because it tells me that it's simply out to make money, and that's it. In any case, regarding the content of the book is also very simplistic in nature, in the sense that you don't need clairvoyant faculties, you don't need anything. You don't need to practice anything, as far as I know, nothing. You just need to, for example, sit in a chair and vibrate certain God names or certain spiritual names and visualize your will manifesting or visualizing you getting what you want. For example, if you want a car, you need to visualize you getting what you want. That is pretty much the simplest way to sum up the new avatar power for the NAP. The very fact that this book is called a miracle is also very controversial and arguable, because it's not a miracle to me. So why call the book that? So the book is honestly almost setting itself back right from the start. The book is just making a bad impression on you if you're someone that just thinks ahead, if you're not someone that takes everything at face value. And yeah, that is it on the new avatar power. I already stated what the benefits are. It's simplicity, shortly summed up in one phrase: simplicity. The drawback is that you should also not expect tremendous results, since this exercise is so, or this magical system is so simplistic in nature. Don't expect to become a multi-millionaire with it anytime soon, or to conquer the world with it, so to speak. Anything noticeable? Nah, it's more for mundane affairs, as far as I know, based on my own knowledge and my own experience. I also practiced this out of this book back when I was a beginner, but no results manifested, so I just moved on. The uh, the fact that it's basically lesser magic, it's a minor form of magic, so it's not as heavy-handed as ceremonial magic, already made a bad impression on me. And I just thought to myself, it's worth a shot. I can just try it. And I tried it, but nothing happened. And I just thought to myself, okay, screw it. I'm just gonna leave it the way it is, and that's all. That's all there is to it. Um, Let me see, and that is it pretty much on the new avatar power. Does anyone have any questions on the new avatar power? It's often abbreviated NAP. Occultists amongst each other or magical practitioners, simply when they talk about it, they simply reference to it as NAP. I just tried NAP, so yeah. In occult circles now, you know what NAP means and what NAP is. So no one has any questions, I'm assuming, on the new avatar power. Okay, moving on. Uh, this is another favorite. The book is called Mastering Witchcraft, a practical guide for witches, warlocks, and covens by Paul Hewson. I repeat, Mastering Witchcraft by Paul Hewson. This book, I think, this book is literally, I think, the most popular book on witchcraft out there, at the very least within the Western world. So we're talking about North America, we're talking about North America and the likes. Okay, Australia, Europe, you name it. The author Paul Hewson is very loved and very well known within occult circles. And this book is basically a trendsetter. And back when I read this book, I immediately knew why. Someone in the chat section says, again, another one that I experimented with back in the day, Jason Dunn. Which one are you referring to, Jason Dunn? The one I'm discussing now, Mastering Witchcraft, or the New Avatar Power? Let me know. In any case, yeah, relating to Mastering Witchcraft, this book is a guidebook, just like the description says. It's a practical guidebook for witches, warlocks, and people that want to master witchcraft. And the author Paul Hewson, in his book, describes in a straight and short and straightforward manner. Sorry, he describes in a short and straightforward manner what to do, how to do it, the extent to which you should do it, and in what way to do it, and it just goes on from there. You'll have to excuse me, the rain is briefly distracting me because it's really pouring on right now. Just moving along, in any case. Yeah, in this book, the author Paul Hewson describes how you should practice witchcraft, what the driving forces behind it. He also tells you how to establish and how to maintain or run a coven. For people that don't know what a coven is, a coven simply reflects to a group of witches or warlocks. So, to a group of witchcraft practitioners, it's kind of like an organization. You can have a group of 5 or more people, as an example, or less even. And he lays basic outlines, everything, okay, in a detailed way that I've never seen before or read upon before. Back when I read this book, so yeah, this book also impressed me. The fact that he was able to establish guidelines. He tells you basically how to erect a coven, how to find other witches and warlocks, and how to perform group rituals and general rules that you need to keep in mind within the coven as a member, who should be the leader, alongside a bunch of other things. He gives the names of spirits that you can work with, one of the names being Fasago. Fasago, long story short, is a pagan god from Babylonian origin or Mesopotamian origin. He is also mentioned in the Goetia. And Fasago is one of these spirits that is mentioned in Mastering Witchcraft by Paul Hewson. That in itself already tells you that witchcraft is heavily paganistic in practice. That uh, witchcraft practitioners can safely be equal to being paganistic, as opposed to being Christian or any other mainstream religion. It's more of a pagan. It's more of a pagan magical practice or paganistic magical practice. And yeah, that is it. But yeah, this book is definitely a must read if you're into witchcraft and you haven't done so already. I give this book an 8 out of 10, safely speaking, an 8 out of 10. As I recall, there are also several versions of it, or at the very least, several versions with a different cover. You name it. In the chat section, Jason Dunn says no, the NAP. He refers to the new Avatar Power and him experimenting with it back in the day. Yeah, same here. Like I said, Spinosaurus is asking me, have you ever been in a coven? The answer is no, because I'm a solo practitioner. I prefer to work solo, and I just prefer to do things myself. As the saying goes, if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. And that especially rings true for me. Nah, I prefer doing things myself, and I just prefer doing things myself, period, instead of working with others, because obviously you'll have to compromise too when working with others, and I am not a fan of compromising or of making compromises for people. It might sound self-centered, but yeah, that's just the way I am. I don't care. And does anyone have any questions on Mastering Witchcraft by Paul Hewson? No one has any questions as far as I can tell. Okay. We're going to move on to someone online. Elvir Galarga says hello. Hello to you too. I'm going to move on to the last book pretty much that I'm going to discuss. And that book is called Living Wicca, a further guide for the solitary practitioner, and the author is Scott Cunningham. Scott Cunningham is also a well-known author within occult circles. He has written, aside from Living Wicca, a bunch of other books as far as I know. In any case, this book, Living Wicca, is just as the description states, it is a guide for the solitary Wicca practitioner. If you're someone that is into Wicca, Wicca is like witchcraft. It is a lower form of magic in which you specifically work with energies that are more nature themed and nature oriented, as well as simply spirits relating to nature. Let's just say Mother Earth and whatnot. And like most lower forms of magic, it doesn't require too much in the way of practice and intensity. It's not intense. It's a very laid back form of magic, and it's almost playfulish, if you will. No offense meant to any Wicca practitioners. The majority of people that practice Wicca, and to a lesser extent witchcraft, are female, to be honest, as far as I know. And in any case, this book by Scott Cunningham is also a good book. In the sense that this book serves as a proper guide. It explains without too much baggage or adding too much baggage into the mix. It explains without adding too much baggage into the mix, or just without adding too much baggage to itself. What to do, how to do it, in what way to do it, how to practice Wicca. How do you practice Wicca? What is Wicca? How do you practice Wicca? Why should you practice Wicca? All of those questions are answered more or less. So basically, an FAQ, frequently asked questions. Uh, and yeah, that's pretty much what Wicca is like. And after reading his book, you'll have a general idea, guideline wise, on how to practice Wicca. And then you can simply start and you can make improvements as you see fit based on your own knowledge or based on your own knowledge and experience. And yeah, that's all I have to say on Wicca. That's the benefit, and I can't recall any drawbacks when reading his book. Elber Galarga says, as long as it's results, that's what matters. My point exactly. Results only matter at the end of the day. Otherwise, it doesn't mean anything. It means little to nothing without results. So yeah, in any case, those are the books that those are the books that I would recommend to a beginner, someone that knows nothing of the occult and wants to work in a traditionalist from a traditionalist perspective. I have an article on all of these books as well as general things to keep in mind before you become a magician. I'm going to share that in the chat bar. That's my article. The name of the article or the header is Magic for Beginners. Um, the name of the article is Magic for Beginners, and yeah, I have nothing else really to say about it other than I simply explain, like I said, what to keep in mind when if you want to become a magician, things that you need to know before actually taking said leap or actually taking that step towards or those steps towards becoming a magician, as well as a list of books, the same books that I discussed just now, as recommendations to anyone in general. These books are from such a perspective, classical and therefore timeless or not time based. Even if they're outdated, even the books that are outdated, you can still work out of them or from them and attain a certain level of results. And last but not least, the link to my occult e-course. But I should state too that my occult course, my e-occult course, it's an electronic occult course, is for people that literally just want to dive headfirst into the fray, if you will, or into the pool, the metaphorical pool, which is the occult. If you just want to know how to summon spirits and how to practice Western ceremonial magic, in my course, I simply teach you what to do, how to do it, and which way to do it, and all of that, in literally as short a time as possible without sacrificing any quality, or at the very least, without sacrificing as little quality as possible. Elvira Galarga says, what do you think of the Golden Dawn? Since you are an adept, would you consider yourself a 5 equals 6? No, not really. I don't like to assign titles to myself, and I am not too keen on the Golden Dawn. I do appreciate the hell out of everything that the Golden Dawn has done as an organization, occult-wise. They're them being the trendsetters of modern occultism, Western ceremonial occultism, and whatnot. But nowadays, last time I checked, the Golden Dawn is nothing more than a former glory, a former shell of itself, and its glories have all the glory days are long over. The days of Aleister Crowley and other prominent occultists being members of the Golden Dawn. Nowadays, the Golden Dawn is filled with nothing but hypocrites and people that see themselves as divine just because they're members, as deluded as they are, and the majority of them can do nothing but judge others, especially those that engage in darker workings or are leaning towards darker workings, you name it. So no, I'm not too fond of the Golden Dawn. I have a video on it, okay? So if you want to watch it, El Verga Larga, I'm more than happy to give you the link to it. Hold on for a second so I can actually look up the link. Uh, and in any case, people, that concludes the main topic that I was going to discuss, specifically occult literature and occult books. There are other books, of course, that I have read. There are other books that I have read. Plenty of other books. I have so many books that I've read to the point where I got bored with reading, period, with reading anything on occultism. Right now, I don't read any books. I don't want to see another occult book whatsoever, you name it, aside from my own. But what was I going to say? And that concludes simply the main topic that I was going to discuss. Now, basically, the rest of the stream, the remainder of the stream will be about miscellaneous subjects and will be largely dependent on things that either come to my mind, subjects to discuss just off the bat, and comments of those that comment in the live chat section. So yeah, that's it. So just so you guys know. Spinosaurus says, by who was Enochian magic written? Click on the link in the article and you'll see. Okay, just click on the link that leads to the article and you'll see for yourself. Golden Dawn. Hold on. This is my video on the Golden Dawn. Feel free to watch it, El Verga Larga, if you want to hear what I think extensively about the Golden Dawn. It's a more extended version of what I just told you. So yeah, that is it. Does anyone have any questions whatsoever or anything to say? You name it, anything. Any questions, anything? No one has any questions, okay. I honestly have no other subject to discuss, so simply put, if you're going to ask something, ask it within the next couple of minutes. Otherwise, I will close off the live stream because I'll just be staring at you guys like an idiot and like vice versa. We're an hour into the stream. This might be my shortest live stream ever. We'll see. Yeah, no one seemingly has anything to mention. Nothing. David B, a little ray of pitch black, Jason Dunn, Homer Simpson. Just asking, none of you have anything to say, nothing to mention. Elvirga Larga, Spinosaurus, nothing. All the people that are online, you guys have nothing to say. No one has anything to say. Okay, guys. I've given you guys a couple of minutes. Let's just say a couple of more moments, more, and if no one has any comments or remarks or questions, then it's bye bye. Elder Galarga says I'm busy at work, so I can't type a lot. I understand that, but yeah, that doesn't help me really. So yeah, I am giving people a couple of more moments, and if no one has anything else to say, then I'm going to close off the stream. I want to thank everyone in advance for joining, and I'd say see you until next time in advance. Jason Dunn says no questions for now. He has no questions or any statements or anything like that. Spinosaurus says okay, none as well. So everything relating to occult books that I discuss is clear, I'm assuming. Jason Dunset was multitasking. Occult experience says this has been very informative. Thank you. Sure, no problem. Okay. Well, if that's the case, then I will be closing off the live stream. Thanks everyone for joining, and like I said, I'll see you until next time. Bye.